First up we have an ATR-72 crash near Sao Paulo. On August 9th Friday, an ATR-72-500 belonging to Vopass crashed while coming into Sao Paulo. The plane was seen falling to the ground in a flat spin. The plane crashed at around 1:30 p.m. local time. The cause of the crash is unknown and under investigation. It was reported that the aircraft was flying normally until about 1:21 p.m., where it stopped responding to calls. Then, radar contact was lost at 1:22 p.m. The Brazilian Air Force said that the aircraft did not report an emergency. The investigators have found the black box containing vital information for the cause of this accident. Sadly, all 62 people on board the flight died. The plane went down in a residential area just south of Campinas and north of Sao Paulo. Data from the plane shows it dropped 17,000 feet in just 1 minute. The route the plane was flying was Cascavel to Sao Paulo, Guarulhos. Police and rescue teams are trying to identify the remains of the victims. This is a completely shocking event that has occurred. Is absolutely devastating news for the victims and the aviation community, as this is Brazil's deadliest air accident since 2007. Also, it is very lucky that nobody on the ground was harmed as it crashed into a residential area. I can't imagine what the families of the victims are feeling currently, so I send my thoughts out to them. Next, a Cessna 172 is going viral after it completed a ferry flight from California to Hawaii. A Cessna 172 with the registration on 176TA has successfully completed a ferry flight from California to Hawaii. The Cessna plane took off from Merced Regional Airport, KMCE, in California on Tuesday, the 6th of August. The plane flew to 1,425 miles before touching down in Honolulu, Hawaii. The flight was 18 hours long and more than 3 times the range of the 2018 Cessna 170 to Skyhawk SP, making an impressive accomplishment. The Cessna managed to complete this incredible flight by fitting every inch of the interior of the plane with extra fuel tanks so it could make it. The distance data shows that the flight reached a max speed of 155 knots and averaged at 130 knots. The peak altitude of the plane was 8,000 feet and an average of 6,000 feet. The pilot, who was in charge of flying all the way to Honolulu, was Tom Lopes. Apparently, he had made this exact flight just 2 years earlier. Personally, I think that this is an incredible accomplishment by the pilot, and on top of that, he has done it for the second time. I would probably get quite bored in a Cessna for 18 hours, but it shows the will the pilot has to get there and complete this flight. Full credit to the pilot for this astounding flight. Emirates have announced that they are refurbishing their 777 business class cabin. Emirates have announced that they are going to be refurbishing all business class seats on 80 out of 141,777 aircraft. The business class cabin will be very similar to the highly rated A380 business class. This upgrade comes after Emirates ordered 65 A350-900s, which will be replacing the iconic A380. They have unveiled the special cabin, and its first flight with the new cabin will be to Geneva. This is part of a multi-billion-dollar and record-breaking cabin retrofit program. The 777 cabin has 38 business class seats arranged in a 1-to-1 configuration. The new business cabin is inspired by Emirates' A380 business class. Along with the business upgrades, Emirates are also adding premium economy to their 777 aircraft. The much disliked old to business cabin layout has changed and will elevate Emirates' 777 business class experience. All aviation critics and fans will love this news, as a lot of people have been hating on the weird configuration of the Emirates 777 business class and saying it's miles behind their rivals like Qatar and Singapore, to name a couple. The change of configuration from the to has been much appreciated by aviation critics. This cabin modernization should help propel Emirates further with their business class product. A pilot performed a belly landing in South Sudan after Dash 8 loses main landing gear. A Renegade Air flight being operated for the United Nations World Food Program collided with a dike when taking off from Mabon. This resulted in the plane losing the main landing and struts. The plane involved in the incident is a 29-year-old de Havilland Dash 8-300. The pilots were aware of what had happened when departing and decided to continue on to its destination, Malacca. This is probably because they don't want to make an overweight landing with landing gear missing. When approaching Malacca, the aircraft circled for a bit to burn off some fuel before attempting a belly landing. The plane ended up landing safely, and all 38 passengers and crew were safely evacuated of the aircraft and escaped away with no injuries. An investigation has been launched for this incident. As with any aviation accident, it may seem obvious why the plane did a belly landing as it hit the structure, but why and what caused it to hit the structure? This is obviously not something that should happen, and it definitely needs to get investigated, as a plane shouldn't hit a something while it's meant to be airborne. I'm glad that everyone is okay and nobody is injured. I am kind of curious too what caused the plane to strike something on takeoff, and I'm sure it would have been felt in the cabin. Tampa announced new 16-gate terminal airside for their airport. Tampa International Airport (TPA) has announced it's building a new airside D terminal for its international flights. This new building will contain a connection shuttle, a modern design, and it will have 2 floors. It is scheduled to be finished by 2028 and will hope to increase airline capacity. This project is the first new airside for Tampa in 17 years. It will be built between the already existing terminals C and E. Tampa did previously have an airside D terminal, but it was torn down in 2007. Where the terminal will be built is currently overnight parking stands. The building will also have 2 lounges that the Anchor Airline will use one of them. The Anchor Airline for the terminal is yet to be announced by Tampa Airport. The terminal will still be used by a variety of airlines. The airport is hoping to reach 30.5 million passengers by 2032, 34.6 million in 2037, and 39 million by 2042. This is great news for Tampa Airport, as expanding their airport will make their airport more appealing to airlines and passengers for them to use their facilities. This is also quite significant for Tampa International, as this is their first new terminal for almost 20 years. Hopefully, this upgrade will increase Tampa's passengers going through the airport.